charity shop town review. And this week we're in Bexleyheath, which is located in southeast London. Bexleyheath only had 3 charity shops, which is a little bit of a poor performance, and that means it's rock bottom of the list. Even below Blackheath, I did not think anywhere was gonna beat Blackheath. But the first charity shop I come across was this Scope charity shop. It had quite a big men's section. There was 4 or 5 pretty packed rails of all different types of menswear. And as well, they had loads of men's shoes, which isn't too normal for charity shops. Normally they've got a couple, but this one just blew me away with the amount they had. I started off by looking at the trousers and the jeans, which was quite hard to do where the rail was so full up. As you can see by the hangers, they were so tightly packed together. There was literally no movement on the rail, like you could barely push anything apart. Out of the limited look that I did have, I couldn't find anything that was going to be worth my time. But they high top Vans at the top. I didn't notice them when I was in there. If I would have seen them, I would have 100% considered picking them up. Even if not to sell on my Depop, I 100% would have picked them up for personal if they were in my size. And as well, if they were like fairly priced, because sometimes shoes in charity shops can get a little bit pricey. They had this quite sick like Adidas like bomber jacket type thing, but it was £20, which was a little bit steep. Maybe if it was like £5, I 100% would have considered picking it up, but for £20, it's just not worth it. Then I went to go look at the men's t-shirts. There was quite a nice little selection of them. The only thing was they were a little bit pricey. Like the majority of the ones that I considered were like £8, if not more. And then when you're going to go and sell on a Depop for maybe £10 to £15, £8 is a little bit too pricey. There's just not going to be any profit there, but there was nothing else really in this charity shop, so we cut out of there. Kai, feels like there's something digging into me in my pocket. It's a like button. If you haven't already liked this video, if you could, it'd be so appreciated. I still feel like I'm getting poked though. What is it this time? It's a subscribe button. If you haven't already clicked this, what are you doing? You're going to be missing out on so much great content in the future, so you'd be absolutely nuts not to click this. But anyway, the second charity shop that we hit up was this Eleanor charity shop. At least we attempted to hit it up. But once again, like the Eleanor charity shops in Dartford and Gravesend, it was shut. I still haven't found out why they're all shut. I can't even Google anything about it. Literally nothing comes up about it. So unfortunately, we couldn't go in there, which was a little bit gutting because I've been in that one before lockdown and it was quite big and they had quite a lot of good stock in there. I might have to return to it when it comes back in one of the week vlogs. But we continued on down the high street and I was feeling a little bit peckish, so we hit up this Lebanese restaurant called Beirut City and I ended up getting this shawarma wrap, which was so peng. It had chicken in it, it had pickles, it had lettuce, it had tomatoes, it had chili sauce. It was like a wrap that you'd get from a kebab, but 1,000 times better. It was the hardest thing to open though. I had about 15 layers of wrapping around it, but once I got into it, it was worth the time unwrapping it. Once I finished that, just a little bit further down the high street was this shop called Muffin Break, and I ended up getting some coffee cake, which was so peng. I was going to get the red velvet cake, but the coffee cake was looking at me a little bit more. Call me the Rate My Takeaway bloke. Me and him should do like a little collaboration. That would be sick. I think I could do a good Rate My Takeaway episode. But going back to charity shops, I see this cancer research shop and I headed inside, which once again had a massive men's section. It was so long, cram-packed for the clothes. The first time I come across was this Umbro and Kim Jones polo shirt, which I've never heard of before. I've never heard of that collaboration, but it was a pretty dead polo. It was literally just a stripy one. I had no branding on it, no nothing. If it had a little bit of branding on it, I might have considered picking it up because it was only £3, which really isn't too bad. There was this rugby top as well that had quite a nice design, but when I looked at the sponsor, it was one for Medway, which if you don't know is pretty local to Bexleyheath, so I put it back. Local sports team stuff just doesn't really sell too well for me, and as well I think this was quite a wham size, so I would have struggled even more to sell it. And then I see this Nike t-shirt which looked like the neck had been stretched out on it. And as well, the tick looked a little bit too small for your average Nike t-shirt, so I gave it a miss just in case. I don't think it was fake. The tag looks pretty legit, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Then I come across this Primark overshirt, which looking back now, I wish I would have picked up. I wouldn't have put it on my Depop, I would have just kept it for personal, but for only £3 it was quite a nice overshirt. But then literally a couple of shirts along was this Top Man one, but I don't think it was anywhere near as good as the Primark one. But even though the men's section was massive in this shop, there was absolutely nothing that was going to be worth my time, so we cut out of there. We then hit up this TK Maxx though, which was massive. They had this quite a sick stripy Lee t-shirt. It was only £15 as well. They also had these Jesus sandals in there, which I thought were quite a crease, but I definitely weren't going to be buying them. But overall, this TK Maxx was pretty dry, so we cut out of there pretty fast. But now let's get into the overall rating for Bexleyheath. I'm going to rate it over 5 different categories, which are coolness of the charity shops, pricings of the items, the stock the charity shops had, parking, and as well the overall area. For coolness of charity shops, I'm going to give this a solid 2. They were literally just dead average charity shops. For the pricings, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. The Scope charity shop was a little bit pricey, but the cancer research one was really well priced. And who knows for the Eleanor one, but the pricings in there are normally quite good. For the stock, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. The stock was quite good, but the only thing is the stock was quite expensive. As I said, especially in the Scope charity shop. For a parking, I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. You could get free parking in Asda, which was just a touch. And as well, it was right on the high street. You can't complain about any of that. And then for the overall area, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. If you want to go there for food, you got so many really good options. And as well, if you just want to go there for shopping, you got loads of different places you can go to. But that gives Bexleyheath an overall score of 28 out of 50, which puts it third in between Whitstable and Gravesend, which I think is kind of fair, to be honest, because it wasn't the best place we've been to, but it wasn't the worst place by any means. But if you have enjoyed this video, if you could drop the video a like, as I said, it'd be so appreciated. It really goes a long way. It helps me out so much more than you think. And as well, if you aren't already subscribed, what's going on? What are you doing? Why aren't you already subscribed? You're going to be missing out on so much great content. And as well, if you could subscribe to help me hit 1k by the end of the year, it'd be very much appreciated. But that is it for the Bexleyheath Charity Shop Town Review. I really do hope you enjoyed, and as well, I hope to see you in the next one.